Have you ever found yourself in a job wanting more but not knowing what to do to get it? Are there people in your organisation who are not performing? Or maybe they're not doing their fair share and they should be doing more to help you and others in your team. Instead, their overall contribution is low and they're being carried by you and the rest of the team. Are these poor performers holding you back? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you could swap these guys for clones of your top performers? That would be amazing, right? Well, if you've thought this before, you are not alone.
Well, listen, there are hundreds of different leadership skills, and it takes years to master them all, but some are much more valuable than others. And if you know which ones you need to focus on, you can seriously cut down the time it takes to learn skills you need to completely change the direction of your career.
To do this, you need to learn from the best, and that's why I'm really excited to be sharing this video with you today. Jack Welch is a management legend, and we're here to show you the 4 management styles that he used to become the most successful CEO in history.
Now, if you understand the value of improving your communication and leadership skills, and you want to hear more, then give us a like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss any of our new video releases. But if you're more serious about your leadership and communication skills training, and you want to put yourself in the top 1% of people in the world using these skills, then make sure you check out CuriousCommunicator.com. It's a great website packed full of management skills and leadership advice, and it's all free. Now, before he died earlier this year, Jack Welch had amassed an impressive record of achievements. When he was made CEO of the giant American conglomerate GE, that's General Electric Company, he took over the running of a company with a market value of $12 billion. By the time he retired, he had taken this to $410 billion. Crazy, right? How did he do it?
Well, the short answer is this. He innovated, demolished bureaucracy, closed down factories, sold underperforming businesses, and cut the deadwood from the payroll. It was the firing of over 100,000 employees that earned him the nickname Neutron Jack. Just like the neutron bomb, he'd get rid of all the people, but leave the properties and buildings still standing.
So, was Jack just a ruthless tyrant who did whatever was needed to get the results he wanted, or was there more to his game than just firing people? He did make some tough decisions for sure. Like he said once, I adapted to the needs of GE and became what I needed to be for GE to survive. And no one on the planet could argue the fact that GE thrived whilst Jack Welch was CEO.
But actually, when you take a closer look, you'll see that one of the biggest factors in his success was the succession planning and training processes that he put in place in GE. Did you know that he went on to produce more world-class CEOs for other businesses than any other company in the world? In other words, he was just as successful at people development as he was at bringing in the numbers. Or maybe it was his obsession with people development that brought in the numbers. Whatever the reason, his people development was an unrivaled success, and it added to his reputation as one of the best CEOs in modern times. So much so that in 2001, when he retired, he received a severance payment of $417 million, the largest payment in business history. Not bad, considering that was nearly 20 years ago.
Now, sadly, Jack died this year, aged 84, but not before he had been declared the manager of the century by Fortune magazine. Can you imagine how successful this guy must have been to be declared manager of the century? Now, there are some great lessons you can learn from Jack, and we can't wait to share them with you because they're so important when it comes to team development.
What you're about to learn is very powerful and it's valuable too, but it's not easy. In fact, if you get it wrong, it can actually be very uncomfortable for you and the other person. And this is a serious problem. Do you know 69% of managers actually report feeling uncomfortable communicating to their employees?
And that's horrible. You can't enjoy life as a manager if you're worrying about interacting with the team. You don't want to be this person. The 4 principles we're going to cover right now are going to make sure you get a great reputation for building a loyal, hard-working and happy team.
Lesson 1. Give honest feedback. One of my favourite quotes from Jack is, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. But when you become a leader, success is about you growing others. When it comes to developing others, giving them feedback on their performance and letting them know what they can do to improve is crucial to their development.
Now, a common mistake people make is they only give selected bits of feedback, or they avoid giving feedback altogether. Imagine giving someone a piece of paper and telling them These are your step-by-step instructions on what you need to do to change. You've made it as easy as it can be for them. Now imagine blacking out half the words and then giving it to the other person. Now you've made it impossible for them to read. And this is what happens when you're not completely honest with someone when giving them feedback. But how you give that feedback is also very important.
Dignity is concerned, the dignity is you never embarrass people. You never publicly reprimand. You never put people down in groups of people. And you have a trust that's built with them. For example, when you let somebody go, they know you'll do it fairly. That's what dignity is. Dignity is all about treating the individual the way you'd like to be treated and never forgetting it, never losing your cool. Don't you ever jump up at a me meeting and yell at somebody in front of 5 peers that are in the room. You can't do that. But you can bring them down the hall the next day and have a chat with them, or that night. That's what dignity is all about. Don't ever humiliate anybody on the team, because you'll lose not that person, but you'll lose all the others.
Lesson 2, give feedback fast. If you've decided to commit to being more honest with your team members, that's great news, but it won't help you much if you're taking too long to do it. 2 out of 3 employees are surprised by the feedback they get in their performance reviews. Jack shares 3 focus areas he uses to give feedback and shows the reason why it's so important to give that feedback in good time.
If you, in fact, don't have your people knowing exactly where they stand, what they're doing well, what they have to do to improve, and where their future's going. The idea of calling people in, guess what happens when this happens? You have to call people in like I did in the early 80s and say to them, I'm sorry, Mary, you have to go. And Mary says to you, why me? And you have to say to him, oh, you're the worst person that we have here. And she says to you, but I've been here 31 years. Why didn't anybody ever tell me? Yeah. That's the sin of management. That's what and people say, I'm too kind to give an honest appraisal. Kind, that's cowardly.
Lesson 3, manage out the bottom 10%. The first thing you need to do here is have a way of distinguishing between the top and the bottom performers that's fair and in line with your company objectives. As Jack says, you measure your people and you take action on those who don't measure up. When you're working on identifying who these underperformers are, there will be telltale signs to help you do this.
You know, people who don't make it are very often people that don't listen. They kiss up, they kick down. The teammates know it and know they're not taking care of them. They take credit for their employees' ideas. And I see this in young managers all the time. They've been individual contributors. They've been raising their hand, having the answers. They've been trying to get out of the pile. Not unlike it is in school. Then they get the management job, and they're still doing it. They're taking credit for ideas. They're doing all these things. And they don't recognize that they will only be as good as the team lets them be. The team's performance will generate the reflected glory or lack of it. Every time I got promoted, it's because our results were great. I didn't get promoted because I was 6'4" with hair or anything else. I got promoted because we had great results. And it wasn't me getting the results. I was getting the reflected glory of my team. And when you recognize that, you'll build your team, you'll get a great team, and then the results will come, and you'll be propelled by them up the ladder.
Lesson 4, get rid of poor performers fast. In Jack's book, Straight from the Gut, he said about acting decisively on people. 40 years later, when I retired, one of my greatest regrets was that I didn't act fast enough on many occasions. When I asked myself, how many times should I have held off on decisions versus how many times do I wish I'd made the move faster, I inevitably found that the latter won almost every time.
Now, I like Jack's teaching style as he keeps things simple, and it doesn't get much more simple than this great quote from Jack. The team with the best players wins. Many of his decisions can be traced back to this simple quote: coach and train people so they are the best in the world at what they do. Manage out and get rid of the underperformers. A never-ending process that he perfected over his 40-year plus career at GE.
Okay, that's it for this video. Get more videos like this and show us your support by giving us a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell to be alerted to all our channel updates. And if you want to supercharge your leadership and communication skills, go visit curiouscommunicator.com for free tips and training. You can sign up to our newsletter and get the latest leadership news and developments. We send out useful tips and updates to help you maintain your leadership edge.
What's your thoughts on Jack's 4 lessons? Do you think they're as relevant today as they were 20 years ago? Or do you think it's just a relic of the past? We'd love to hear your opinion on this, so let us know by leaving a comment below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.